I'm your host, Lo, and this is Mic Drop Sun Drip, the show where we drop truth and speak light into you. This is the show for those ready to awaken to their full power, live from love, bask in golden divine light, embody abundance and divine wealth. Drop into your heart and feel it all in your body. You can watch on YouTube or listen on all podcast platforms. Here we go. Oh, and one more thing. You have a spark of the divine in you. Act accordingly.
Well, we just did a 22-minute pre-show combo because this is one of my girls, one of the people that has my utmost respect, the embodiment of the divine feminine, a soul mentor. Y'all probably should start working with her like yesterday. And also just a priestess, my fellow priestess, queen, goddess, here to embody and disrupt planet Earth in the wounded masculine energy and to bring it back into balance. My girl, Stephanie Pereira Lima. We were just talking about how to appropriately pronounce her name because I'm all about accuracy. My spirit guides always say, precision, Lauren, precision, be precise. So here I am. Steph, welcome to Mic Drop Sundred, baby.
We're here. This has been months in the making. So thank you. I'm so pumped.
Thank you for making the time, my girl. And you're always so kind and gentle and flexible with Lolo as the projector that I am, emotional projector, and Sag, Leo, Pisces, and Scorpio's in there, and Cancer's in there. And I appreciate you more than I can put into words, and I love you deeply. And I'm so excited for people to get to know you on this show. This is a very critical show, everybody. We are recording January 15th, 2026. This is coming out next Tuesday, whatever date that is. So this is very real time, and we're going to be speaking of the current time we're living in. But before we get into that, Steph, please give everybody your background, like whatever you feel called to share in terms of who you are, where you're at in life, how you got here, and of course, the ways they can work with you.
Yes, beautiful. Oh, these questions, it's always really hard, right? To just concisely,
Yes.
this is who I am.
Yes.
So I'll just more practically, today I'm a soul mentor, I'm an intuitive channel and divine feminine priestess. My
Mm-hmm.
soul is here to activate and bring forth
Mm-hmm.
truth and light and really just supporting people in like there's a lot of divine mother energy that comes through in me as well as in the work that I do.
Yeah.
um, I'm going into my fourth year on my path of spiritual entrepreneurship, soul purpose, following this call. Previous to this, I was in corporate and I
Yep.
was in leadership, sales, marketing, event planning. I ran an agency with 30 people, brought it to a couple $1 million in revenue, and
Mm-hmm.
it all crashed and burned with the pandemic. And
Yep.
then at that point, it was like, all right, my soul is ready.
Yeah.
Again, there was a time and place where the corporate world served me and it expanded me, and it was a great teacher. But yeah, I was ready to move forward in what I'm really meant to be doing here. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm originally from Miami, Florida. I am a first generation Latina. My dad is Brazilian, my mom is Cuban. So grew up with the, like we're building from the ground up, and a lot of wealth and money, scarcity and wounding that I had to
Yeah.
work through and move through. And I'm still, peeling back those layers. But
Yes.
I have the very common, this is very common in terms of, older sister,
Uh-huh.
always empathic, always highly intuitive and sensitive, but just didn't have the language for that as a young girl.
That's right.
Took on a lot of responsibility. In turn, I was people pleasing and hiding my light and my needs and ways so that whoever I was with was taken care of. And eventually, you burn out. You burn out, and it showed up in my work, in relationships, friendships, my personal relationship, and everything had to literally die out and crumble, moved through many dark nights and going through another death and rebirth at the moment. So this is perfect timing. But I share all that because this story is I it's so much, like, it's so much more common than what we think.
Yeah.
And if we distill it to the masculine and the feminine essence, that, energetically, that those are the qualities that we're speaking to.
Yeah.
And so
That's right.
many women are waking up to their soul, their womb, their truth, and realizing, I can't operate from my wounded masculine anymore.
Mic drop. Let's all just sit with that. I can't operate from my wounded masculine energy anymore. Game over. Before we go further, because you just opened up the portal and here we go. Remind everybody how they can work with you. How can they partner with you? What are you really here to help people with, or groups of people together?
Yes. So I work with women that are obviously on their spiritual path, that are stepping into their soul purpose and their soul's calling, as well as their soul business.
Yeah.
A lot of these women, whether you identify with this word or not, you carry the healer archetype, the
Yep.
healer codes,
That's right.
right? Again, everyone individually is sovereign and they themselves are their own healer. I
Yep.
agree with that. But the word healer, there, that is who we are. If you're
Yes.
listening to us, you are a healer, and you carry as well the priestess template and the
Yes.
priestess codes, right? And so these are the women that I love to support intimately,
Yeah.
closely within my one-on-one container called Soul Space.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing. I've supported women from 3 months to 3 years inside some of these containers. It's all
Yes.
intuitively channeled. I meet you where you're at, and we start to accelerate and open new timelines. And it's both the deep shadow work and the alchemy work, as well as activating these higher frequency codes and starting to actually tangibly live your life from your heart and from your soul. So that's my one-on-one baby. And I also want to plug two more things.
Yes.
Held Healers, which is a membership,
Uh-huh.
intimate space as well, online, for the emerging healers. And this is where I blend both the healing as well as business support.
Yeah.
And I'm all about community. I'm a 4/6 line in human design, and I have
Yeah.
gift 37. So, like, for me,
Woo!
bringing people together, I connect so many people in so
You
many ways that
do. You
I can't
do.
even track it all. But
Yeah.
um, Held Healers is another space as well, if that's something that feels, aligned. And then, of course, retreats. And I have a beautiful retreat that's coming up in June in Guatemala called the Triple Moon Goddess Retreat, alongside my
Oh
dear
yeah.
sister Shanti. And this is a womb healing, feminine embodiment experience. We're working
Yep.
with ancestors and the sacred land. I mean, it's really, really, really potent.
Oh,
So,
heaven. Heaven.
plugging that for summer solstice 2026. So,
And
thank
there's
you.
still spots available to join that.
Yes, yes, we have a handful that are in at the moment, and we're looking to be 13,
Yeah. Lucky
maybe
13. Love it.
14.
Hmm.
Yes, and
Intimate.
13 is the divine feminine number, but intimate,
I love that.
curated. This
Yeah.
is, yeah, this
And
is my
do
jam.
people have to apply, or we'll link in the show notes however you can explore that, but do people have to apply? Do you do a discovery call? What's kind of the process?
For the retreat, yes. Application, discovery, or connection call is what
Love
we
it.
call it. And
Beautiful.
various extended payment plans to make it
Yes,
financially possible.
absolutely. Love
Um,
that.
all for making things accessible. And yeah, it's
What a potent time of year to do that over the solstice. You don't hear about a lot of retreats happening, and what a time, because it's like the light's back, the sun is here. I mean, spring, yes, but the summer solstice is, I mean, I think it's just as important as the spring equinox and the winter solstice. The fall one's kind of like fall. I mean, we love fall, but it's not as, but there's 12, 12/20 or 12/21 winter solstice, spring equinox, March 20th, and then obviously summer solstice. Is that June 21st? Usually?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just love that you're doing it at that time. And I have channeled in my New Year's Eve episode I channeled, live channeled 10 codes for Year of the Fire Horse. And would you believe, and Stephanie's an oracle, so she knows how it is to be psychic. The divine brought through a code out of absolutely nowhere that said July is a very important month for Earth, America, and all the people watching. And particularly at that time, it was about everybody watching and me. Like July is an important month. So I do think like this coming summer is going to be not like the past 5 summers. So everybody just strap in.
Yeah.
But I love that. I'm so excited. And as you were talking about like working with women and healing the womb, my womb tugged. I was like, yeah, there it is, So it's real, and women have had a very complicated journey on Earth for centuries, eons, I might add. There was a time when there was much more equality and also matriarchal systems where women ran the world, so to speak, or it was more in balance. And we also know, in a culture near and dear to my heart in many past lives, and when I say many, I am not joking, is Native American. Where I grew up now, I was one of the main Native American warriors, and I'm very open about all this. So I remember there's no like Lauren was told a story that she believes. I have vivid memories in my conscious waking state of being a Native American warrior, a man and a woman once. Okay. So, you know, in Native American culture, women were revered just like men were. Wow, what a surprise. And we've gotten so far away from that. And again, we're recording on January 15th, 2026, and we are living in quite a current moment in, of course, world history. There's a lot going on. There's massive conflict and terrible things happening in Iran. And I'm sending all of my deep love. My soul has deep connections to the Middle East as well. But there is absolute turmoil happening in the United States. Everybody knows I'm very public with my feels about it. And I asked Stephanie before we started recording if we could talk about what it really is going to look like. We got to start having these conversations about how is Earth going to look as we put the feminine back into balance, meaning put the feminine back equally next to the masculine in harmonious balance, Libra energy, full blown balance, justice, goddess Themis, let's go. It's and for many years, Stephanie knows, like, we've been talking about the rise of the feminine, the restoration of the divine feminine, and all that's great. But now, starting in 2026, but for sure the next 3 years, we're just going to talk in 3 years for a second. 26 to 28 is a span of time when not only are the divine feminines going to have to step up, but we're going to have to step up with solutions, not just the sacred rage and the outrage. And I know that's real. There's nobody that knows it better than me, because I publicly display it. So there's that. But I would love to hear, because I also asked, like, I was channeling before this, and right before I jumped on with Steph, the higher realms were asking her and I to talk about the archetypes of the feminine, to talk about the divine feminine. And there are men that watch my show, and like, I do want men to understand more about the complexities of the divine feminine, right? They both have complexities, but we're talking about the divine feminine right now. And so I would love to like ping it to you, Steph. Like, what comes into your heart as we kick off this conversation in the spirit of solutions for restoring the divine feminine energy on earth? And more than that, how do you want to talk about the experience that women have had being oppressed for as long as we have on earth?
Whew, where to go with this? Well, as we know, we must first do the work internally
Yep.
within ourselves, right? To then be able to be seen, to be visible, to step into our leadership, which was another theme that was starting to come through,
Yes.
has been as well for me on my path as I prepare to be more visible, whether it is something more literal as a video and voice on Instagram to on stages and conferences and traveling and starting to really expand with these teachings and these
Yeah.
experiences. And so it's I'll first I'll start off a little bit simple given the retreat that we
Yes.
have with the triple moon, just to break it down because there are so many archetypes and so many ways
Yes.
in which, one can understand these different feminine essences, but the maiden, the mother, and the wise, right? So the maiden in her essence, and we can connect it to a young girl who might be a
Yes.
little bit more naive and more playful and
Yeah.
joyful. And also, in all of these archetypes, there's a highest expression, and then there's also a shadow expression.
Yeah.
And so,
Exactly.
for example, the maiden, for all the fun and impulsive and let's go and let's just enjoy life, may not want to take on responsibility, may not want to step into ownership
Yeah.
and and accountability, right? And that's number one when we're really doing our healing work is
Totally.
understanding that you are a sovereign being and you are responsible for everything in your life, whether, yeah, and depending on where you are and feeling in your victimhood versus empowered in
Right.
taking ownership, right? That this is where some of these things, and this can be triggering too to some people. So the maiden, right? Then the mother, as we know, yes, it could be a very literal woman, being pregnant and
Yep.
giving birth to human children, but we are all mothers and creators in our essence, right?
Right.
Whether it's creating an offering, an event, to writing a poem,
Yeah.
to painting, to, every single moment is an act of creation. And
Yeah.
I think something that I used to have this belief because I grew up dancing. And then
Oh,
at one point, I stopped dancing. And then I said, I am no longer creative. I am not creative because I do not paint or sculpt or do art, right? Very little art things that
sure.
people associate with creativity.
Sure.
And so this was an internal block that I had to really, really move through to understand. In fact, when I'm organizing an event, whether it's, for the work that I do now or back then, even just gathering people to our
Gathering
home,
people. Yeah.
that is creation
It
anyways
is. It
in its
truly is.
finest, right? And
I
so
love
please,
that.
for those of you that say, I'm not creative, stop using those words just entirely, please. And yeah, and so the mother, coming back to the mother archetype, right? So she's the nurturer, she is abundant, she is the creator, and she's also very fierce and very protective. And so again, depending on where, she is showing up in her expression, the one of the shadows that's coming through for me to share is that the people pleasing or the overextending or giving to every
Yeah.
single person other than yourself, right? And so
It
in this,
exhausts me just hearing about it. Yeah. It's real.
you can't serve, right? You can't pour from an empty cup. And so this very real way of operating, right? Again, that is the wounded masculine coming through. And so
Yes,
and
it
in
is.
the essence of the mother archetype, right? The mother archetype as well, you move into a different place of self plain, like selfish and selfless,
Yeah.
right? There's a different spectrum there when you're embodying this archetype. um and another thing I want to mention is
Very
that the
true.
maiden, yeah, the maiden, the mother, and the wise, which we like to use wise. I don't love the word crone. I
I
think it
know.
has like really weird
Yeah, it does. I agree.
images, and Disney did another number there with, evil witch and all the things. I know. The crone, or excuse me, the wise woman, right?
That's when you're the
She
happiest. That's the little secret.
literally.
At least in the current constructs on Earth, because, and I would say, that's because um it's really about just sitting in one's wisdom. The lessons are done. Let's be
Exactly.
honest. Let's be honest. Because through the mother phase, you're right. There's a lot of lessons still.
Yes. Yes. And so in this wise archetype, you give less shits, right? Like you are
Big time.
unbothered from the external, you are in your truth, you are really just in your wisdom, right? In your womb wisdom, in your
Yeah.
heart wisdom, in your soul wisdom.
Right.
And so the other thing I want to mention is that, these are not just very literal, oh, from this age to 30, I'm in my maiden, and 30 to 50, I'm in my mother, and 50 plus, I'm in my wise. I know people associate
Yeah.
that very literally. But I want to mention that these are archetypes that you can tap into at any moment, and we go through them within a cycle of our monthly cycle. And if you start to look at your menstrual cycle and the different phases there and start to connect them to the seasons and the
Yeah.
elements, you can also connect
That's
them to
well
some of
said too.
these archetypes. Exactly. So the spring, right? The spring energy, and that may be associated more with the maiden.
Right.
That is, very much the follicular phase. That's the beginning of, the yeah, the beginning of our cycle. And then you might associate your ovulation with summer, right?
Hmm.
And again, please take this with a grain of salt, and
Yeah, it's
really
best to not put
trust.
too many labels on these things.
Exactly. I think there's a place where some of these categories can help us understand. But then, for
Yes, that's fair.
example, there's a lot of language out there around bleeding with the new moon and ovulating with the full moon.
Right.
I bleed with the full moon. So it's like
I tend to as well.
yeah, like you
There's
gotta
no right or
find
wrong.
you got to find your rhythm, you find your flow. But at some point, we were talking about ovulation in summer, and then there's the fall. There's
Right.
the, all right, I'm going into my luteal, and I am a little bit more internal, and I don't have as much energy to pour into other people or to be socializing. And then you bleed, and
Exactly.
you're in your winter, right?
Exactly.
You're in
The
your full.
seasons. Yeah.
And so, again, this is where these archetypes can also start to come through.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, and then beyond that, I mean, depending on where you are in your, you know, multi-dimensional energy work, Goddess Isis, the divine mother is set. She is considered to be the mother of all mothers. And within that, you have many different goddess expressions. Like Kuan Yin is one that I
Oh, we
came
love
to.
her.
Yeah, compassion. Like when you were learning compassion, you were connecting with Kuan Yin.
That's
And
right.
that was very present for me, um, a couple of years ago. Right now, and I have, so the Sophia Code is a book
Oh,
that I want
yeah.
to name
If you
because
know, you know.
yes,
I'm
this is
glad you
the
just shared that.
true
Hmm.
divine feminine. And look at how I brought it. And I, of course, opened it up. And prior to us jumping on live, and Mary Magdalene is starting to be really, really present for me today as well. And so,
Oh,
again,
beautiful.
it's this is such an internal
Yeah,
unfolding for you to feel into which of these goddesses and frequencies and messages that are resonating with where you are in your path at that moment, because there will be others that start to come in as well. um
that's right.
so I'll pause there. How, yeah.
That was beautifully said. And I think, again, what one of the aspects that I take from that in terms of this bigger topic of like, okay, what are solutions to restoring the feminine on earth in our daily lives, like in ways of being? We're not talking about like when you're in meditation talking to creator. We're talking about here and now, like when you're getting up, when you're paying your bills, when you're making breakfast, when you're going for a walk, when you're making love, like we're talking about now, like in the human. I'll tell you how to extract from what you said, Steph. It's working with the natural parts of the seasons. This is not, you know me. It wouldn't be my soul's high frequency if I wasn't condescending in my tone. So, anyway, I know people think that's my human. No, that's my soul. That's the hard truth because my soul's real frustrated with Earth. Okay. So, yeah. Um, working with the seasons is not a woman thing. It's a human thing. And it needs to become a human thing once again, back to indigenous cultures around the world. The New Age spiritual movements, run by mostly white people, with said with love, have taken and manipulated what indigenous cultures have known since the beginning of time, that there's great mystery, aka creator, creatrix, divine mother, father, God are a great mystery, including Mother Sophia. She ain't meant to be figured out. Hello. So careful saying her name. She's like, yeah, she's hello. I know we're talking about it because the divine mother's been looking at me like, you haven't been talking about the feminine stuff. What's been going on with you? Oh, I've just been going through my 10th dark night of the soul last year. I'm through it now. Thanks. So, you know, this energy of working with the cycles of Earth, fall, winter, spring, summer, the solstices, the new and full moons. And obviously, like you mentioned, if you're a woman working with your cycle, your ovulation cycle, your menstrual cycle, your blood, call it whatever, putting fancy names on it in the name of spirituality, new age, doesn't change the fact that like we need to embody this human form from our soul's origin point. Like it can't be like two separate anymore. And I mean, I still talk about them like they're separate because they don't feel one. I can very much feel my human frequency, the matrix, the ego, the programming from the matrix, and my wounded inner child. And then I also can pendulum over to this side to my soul's frequency that truly doesn't. My soul's frequency is in the wise. And then I'm here 37 years old acting like the wise, right? So it's hard for us that are deeply connected to both realms, right? Women like Stephanie, women like me, just so you guys understand, and I'm going to keep saying this publicly, we have one foot in the higher realms and one foot in the earth realm always. We don't have a choice. We don't get to just be in corporate America. Ignorance, ego, bliss mode is what I call it. We don't have that luxury like some of these fellow humans of ours. So as everybody wakes up this year and next year and the year after and the year coming and okay, everyone's waking up in whatever way. It doesn't mean everyone's here with oracle gifts. Absolutely not. Very few. Okay. I'm talking about waking up to remembering you're a soul and a body and that you are made up of masculine and feminine energy. So I love what you shared. Now I want to talk about some of the other archetypes. You know how we've talked, and this is also a debate because there could be hundreds of them, really. But things like the mother, the queen, the slut, the huntress, right? The warrior. These are all archetypes. And in many ways, the masculine does have their own corresponding, what I call sub archetypes. The feminine has her own, right? Because I always think of the queen as the embodiment of all of them. It's like when you get to queen level, you have maiden, mother, wise, you have warrior, huntress, mother, maiden, slut. Like, you have them all, and you now are in because the truest, highest expression of the divine feminine is queen. Let's just call it what it is. Just like the truest, highest expression of the divine masculine is king energy, right? So even in the tarot, there's empress, emperor, but that's one aspect, right? But then you think of things like queen of cups, king of cups, queen of swords, king of swords, queen of wands, king of wands, queen of pentacles, king of pentacles. You know what my goal is? And my PSA to the world? Every masculine become all four of those king energies because we hold all of them. Every feminine become all four of those queen energies. We are absolutely never meant to just be an empress all day. Wouldn't get anything done. And we got to be very active participants in the restoration of Earth's original codes, right? But at the same time, we can't always be in Queen of Swords. That's working all the time. That's intellect. It's mind. It's it's intense. It takes a lot of energy, right? So it's always what you said, Steph. It's always this balance and also honoring seasons, because one of the things I was getting is you were saying, like, just know it's not like you're maiden from this age and then mother from this age. I was getting that a lot of people in their dark night, we'll talk about the feminines, have had to go backwards into the maiden, have had to be 36 and having to go back to their hometown and heal their childhood stuff when they thought they did that when they were away from it. That's my experience. Some people become mothers and they find that they're catapulted into their maiden after becoming a mother, that their deepest inner child stuff comes up.
Yeah.
Or some people are stuck in maiden forever, no matter what their age is, or all of them, right? So it's real. And I think that's a piece of our humbling as well. Of like a lot of people talk about, women talk about becoming a mother humbles you. Yeah. Because you
Yeah.
can't be selfish anymore. Like, really can't be.
Yeah.
Because I think in union, women still like uh, romantic union is a topic we need to talk about next. Are you okay with that?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. And I really want to ask you about this because you are in union. Romantic union is where the highest distortion of the feminine and masculine shows up. Because when sacred sex is involved, game over. And we only have sacred sex with one type of relationship. That's on purpose, right? I mean, you can have sex with your friends, but I'd just be careful there. So anyway, I I think that when we see things in the government and on the world stage that are very, very blatant examples of the feminine and masculine not being in balance, it all comes back to the union between the two that become one, essentially, right? And really the three, because there's you, your partner, and the relationship as its own consciousness that you have to feed into. Anyway, we know this. So, um, I think that's where the biggest polarization comes in for women because a lot of women, I know a lot of women in union, whether they're married or they're in union with actually a great partner, but becoming a parent, it's like this next level Kuan Yin energy of having to be, and I don't know the right language. Is it selfless? Is it there is sacrifice, but you also have to try to find your own identity again and put yourself, fill your cup up, oxygen mask first, of course. It's complicated, and I don't think it's one way. But in union with a masculine, I'm noticing a lot of women are not treating that union the way they would a child. And this is a debate. I'm not saying I'm right about this. I just know what I believe that our counterpart needs to be treated with the type of love and respect we would give our child. And then I know we all want that treatment back as women, but we can't be like, you know, we can't be having this attitude towards the masculine of like, come on, circus performer. What are you doing?
Yeah.
How are you providing? How
Yeah.
are you protecting? Right? It's got to be this both and because we want to restore the feminine and the masculine in harmonious balance. But then we're asking, even spiritual people are asking the masculine to be hyper masculine and not be in their feminine when they're tired and they want to cry and they're over life and they don't want to hold space for us sometimes. And we don't want to hold space for them either. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so I would love to hear, like, in your experience with your union, whatever you feel called to share, but just thinking about how you show up there and how you see other people show up in romantic union and how that relates to like the feminine and the masculine harmony we're talking about energetically.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much here, right? Because first and foremost, and actually, I just briefly want to go back to previous to
Please do.
we get into the union stuff because there was something that was coming through
Please
that
do.
I felt called to speak to, where,
Yes.
for example, my mother and my husband's mother and so many other people that I know, we
Yeah.
know, that had young mothers, right? Speaking
Sure.
speaking to like, okay, you know, late teens, early 20s, like at that point, if you're having a child, of course your personal development is going to take a side pause step so that you are literally in survival mode, right? And you are in caretaking mode.
Wow, that is just like a mind blown for me. Thank you for saying that. It's so true, and I have never thought about it quite like that. That helps me a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
that, because you were speaking to like maybe in their 30s or 40s is where they enter their maiden phase, where they have the space and the time to
sure.
actually discover themselves,
Yeah,
or go through the things. And even we see it with like older couples. I'm thinking of this one friend who, her mom married her partner out of high school, was with him for 30 years, and then actually later then in her 50s was starting to learn her own essence and body and dating. And so it's like, again, wherever you are in life, it's all perfect, it's all
yes, yes.
You're right on time. There's nowhere else you need to be, but this conscious inner work is something that needs to happen whether you are single or in relationship, because when you are in relationship, you have a fucking mirror next to you all the time. All the time. And you
Right.
need to be able to, right? And I'm sharing, my partner and I, we're going on 10 years together as adults. Um, Married for 3, but
Yep.
we've known each other since we were 16. And
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a lot. You need to know, am I showing up in my highest priestess self in this moment, or am I
Sure.
showing up under-resourced? Am I tired? Am I hungry? Am I just, feeling irritated and I'm, taking it out on him, or
Yeah.
vice versa? Like, there you really need to bring, that self-awareness into the space. And then all the above, right? Not just, oh, I need you to be in your masculine and never rest, but like, what's the money situation between the two of you? Is
Hmm.
that imbalanced?
Oh, yeah.
What about with taking care of children?
Yeah.
Is the female or the mother, the one doing all the work, and the guy's just paying the bills and he's emotionally absent? Like, there's so many dynamics that happen, and as you start to awaken, I think this is the bigger conversation, because it's happened for me with my partnership, but also with some clients,
Yes.
where the female, right? And again, we're speaking heteronormative male female here, but
Yeah.
the woman is waking up, going through her spiritual, awakening. You're becoming more sensitive. You have deeper needs. You want
Yep.
a certain level of presence and
Yes.
communication. And then, your partner showing up as his 16-year-old ADHD, impatient self. Like, how can you find
That's
that
right.
balance? Because I've been there where I'm like, here are all the books and the podcasts, read it, hurry up, develop quicker. Like, I've done that. And then I pulled back, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm not doing
What am
anything.
I
And
gonna
then,
do? Yeah.
and it's like, it's this constant dance. And there's this one, I'll share this very personal, real, literal thing that happened. As we do, I think at some point all of us tap into Dr. Joe Dispenza's work at some point, right? And I was really, really deep into his work a couple years ago, and I would recommend this book to my husband, and there was just so much resistance. And then,
Right.
lo and behold, his cousin, all the way in Argentina, who's an artist, read the book. He's making all this money through his art. His life is quantum leaping. Now, my husband is reading the fucking book. I'm like, if you had done this years ago,
Right.
this is the very literal, like, how do you
Yeah.
find that balance, right, within very real 3D human life,
Yes.
but also honoring everyone's path. And it's hard. And I know there are
It
many
is
women
hard.
who would just, all right, fuck it, I have to leave this. And and there's a time and a place, absolutely, where certain relationships, if they are toxic and
Of
karmic, and you're
course.
just,
That's right.
yes, please leave and forge your new path. And then
Yeah.
there are others where it's this is the most spiritual thing ever, is being in a marriage and entrepreneurship, I will say. But
Right. Right.
it's hard, and you are constantly being presented your shadows, and you have to learn how to, again, am I in when I was in corporate and I was so in my masculine energy, it did not allow for my partner to be and to show up in his masculine.
Of
He was
course.
more in his feminine, right? And this, let's take it more tangibly. This could be, seen as like waking up on a Sunday and always feeling like I had to have a to-do list, and there wasn't space for the play and the spontaneity and for the doing nothing, because that
Yes.
felt extremely unsafe to my nervous
Totally.
system and my body, as most of us do. If you really can't sit in stillness, one very practical thing, please take that away from this conversation, is start to for 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 30 minutes. Eventually, you're going to be 3 hours and wanting to be in stillness. But finding those moments where you can plug in and ground, to start to allow for some of these shifts to take place. Otherwise, the ego and survival mode is just going to continue to run the show. But
Mic.
anyways, oh.
That was a mic drop. I think the survival piece is a big topic that could take another pod. We'll have you on again. But thank you for sharing that vulnerably. It's very real and it's very 3D. And again, part of the shade I throw at the spiritual communities right now, as I like to say, our colleagues in the space, is there is an enormous amount of bypassing and gaslighting, of course. There's an enormous amount of ego in all the messages. And what I am finding is that the people that are talking about like sacred union, and I put heavy quotations around these people talking about it, sacred union, um, sp- uh, spiritual marriage, whatever these terms are, divine union and the twin flame journey, which, hi, I'm the authority on that. Very few are. There's a few, but very few are of real authority on what it means to be here twice in two bodies. So everybody we'll come back to that in a minute. But I think that divine union has gotten distorted with these like gender roles, and like I'm noticing there's this like interesting, and I don't want to call it backwards or forwards. To your point, everything's right on time, but there's this movement happening where women are staying at home again, homemaker, like these spiritual influencers in their home, barefoot, running in the fields with their kids, and their man's making the money. And I watch that stuff. And then I watch, the more like the other end of the spectrum, right? Where it's like, I'm a boss woman, and I don't believe in that crap either. It's all a mask. But I have to wonder, what is a mask? Is the homemaker at home barefoot in the kitchen cooking for the fam? Is that a mask? Is the boss woman that wants to dominate the boardroom a mask? Where's the happy medium here for women? It feels like women cannot win at all. Like we're fucked one way or the other. We're going to be judged no matter what. It's like you're a homemake, you want to be home because you're an artist and you actually love to cook and love to mother and you don't feel called to some big professional career. You're a gold digger. You want to go dominate the boardroom and actually change the fact that the C-suite executives, women are still only 1 to 3% of them. You're a fucking man eater. Yeah. You see, guys? So to the men watching, I love you. I've told you I love you. You got to understand the complexity that women face. We can't win no matter what we do. We're asking you to support us in the winding road that Stephanie just described of what it means to come into your full embodiment of who you are as a woman on this planet in any lifetime, because every lifetime's different, right? And you happen to be a man this lifetime. Best believe you've been a woman. So try to remember that shit, okay? I've remembered my lives as a man. I know the pressures that everybody feels across the spectrum, but I'm getting a little bit tired of this dynamic of like, no matter what women do, it becomes this question always that I feel is echoing in the back of a lot of our heads of just like, am I wrong? Am I just wrong for existing? Am I wrong for wanting this kind of life? Am I wrong for wanting to not work all the time and still have millions of dollars? Am I wrong for wanting to be a mother, but still being this powerful? Am I wrong for wanting my beautiful man that I want to be in union with and still being this powerful? Do I have to suppress myself for him to come into union with me? What is it? Oh, I've asked the divine all those questions. I've asked my twin all those questions, his higher self. You know what his higher self has said? No, just be who you are. I love you as you are. Yep, even in your shadow. What? You do? Yep. And by the way, to be loved by anyone is a privilege and an honor on earth. And I think that's where the union conversation is going, is that we all need to have a bajillion times more respect and reverence for each other. And to your point, each other's unique experience, and then the experiences we create when we merge together as one. Because you're still you in your marriage. Your husband's still him. You grow together, you evolve, but you're still in that body and he's in that one, right? And so it's like that's a question I'd love to bring to you to kind of round out this conversation of union of like how have you found, I mean 10 years, oof, and then all the other years that you've known him and whatever the childhood. It's like how especially in your current moment in evolution, how do you look at maintaining or continuing to grow in your own thought leadership, purpose, authority, self respect, self love, your own journey? And then how do you look at how that feeds into your um, being a wife and then maybe even being a mother eventually? But how do you look at that? Or are they just all one to you?
Yeah, I think at this point for me, I see it as all one. I think when I was in corporate, because we're very much programmed that way, you have your work identity and life, and then you have your personal life. And there were these two separate things. And
Exactly.
now,
Well said.
yeah, and so now, like having left that identity and that way of being known or with titles and all these things and now
Yeah,
merging into what I do today, I have been extra intentional to integrate and embrace all of these aspects of myself because
yeah,
again, coming back to the maiden, the mother, the wise, like I've actually always been very much the mother archetype in my own
totally.
nature, whether it's loving on my plants or my dog to at some point, absolutely. And I feel the connection to my daughter, and she's come to me in many different ceremonies, and she's like right there, and I'm like, hold on, not just yet, not yet. I still have a few more things I want to do. And I think the point that I'm at right now is it's interesting because I've always been very ambitious and very,
Yes,
the go-getter
you do
energy.
have that. Yep,
Yeah, and so there are, of course, these fantasies of mine of like sell the house, live in a van, travel,
totally. I
this
have those
way.
fantasies too.
Or what was the other thing I did the other day? I was like, no, 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 okay, fuck it. No, we're not gonna live in a van in the US. We're gonna go live in Mexico and like,
Right,
like
right.
there's this
And a
very real
shack on the beach. Like,
human
fuck it. Yeah.
exactly that that comes into play and it's like, wait, but like how does that tangibly like take place and then for so long I was like, no, no, I want to travel, 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 and then I realized no, in fact, like I like having I call it my headquarters, right? Like my
Yeah.
one sanctuary where this is home, and then from there I'm able to, because I know that my work, it's already begun with the retreats, but I
Yeah.
know that I am meant to be traveling and physically going
Yeah.
to different spaces and locations, and eventually even with like grid work and all of that, like I know
Oh,
that
yeah.
that's there. And I want to mention this because this is very much part of our path when we are in this void space, whether
Yeah.
it's coming out of a dark night or kind of the collective shedding of the snake year, which we are, at the very tail end of, and we're starting to feel,
Yep.
as we said before recording, the merging and the transition into this other energy. I can intuitively feel that there are many changes happening, and it's not very clear to me in this moment. And
Yeah.
that might change in
Exactly.
2 weeks' time.
Well
That might
said.
change
Well said.
in 2 months' time.
That's right.
But part of this path of letting things download and marinate
Yeah.
is being comfortable with this very mundane moment when when you're not launching or
Right.
calling in
On
the
a
funds
high.
and the money and on a high,
Yeah.
and all the amazing things, which yes, there's a moment for all of that expansion,
Yeah.
but the rest is important, right? We rest, we create, we execute. We rest, create, and execute.
I love that. That's Stephanie's trifecta of power. It's a triangle. I also think like you're calling out something that's really important for embracing Earth, especially for my star seeds out there, your star seeds, our star seed family, call them whatever, okay? Ancient souls. This is what it is, right? There are souls that have only ever incarnated on Earth. So they've been in higher realms and then Earth. Those are, we call them Earthies. So they know Earth. They do well on Earth. Then there are souls that have been to a bajillion other planets, and a lot of those planets are in oneness. That's what a starseed is. A starseed is a soul that's been on many planets in many, many, many lives, plus Earth, and knows oneness, and then blasts down into Earth where there isn't oneness right now. Okay. So the task ahead, Lee Harris, one of my favorite channels, he's pure as fuck. He channeled, this is the year where we start to come into oneness, and everyone's going to be clocking in. Not divine. Are you waving a magic wand over Earth to make it oneness? If the divine could do that, it would have done that a long time ago. The divine made these planets sovereign. The divine put a stopgap in its own design so it wouldn't get too powerful, meaning I make you get into oneness. We have to co-create oneness again on Earth. That's how the divine works. You want to know why the divine can't stop every war? Because the planet's sovereign. Mother Earth's in charge. She can blast a wave to sink the whole planet and then humanity's gone. So let's be careful offending her anymore. Okay. I know her well. So does Stephanie. So I think that like the key piece, sorry, that's how my channel talks. I go in tangents and then I have to come back to what I was just saying. Soul, you're testing me, yo. So it's about making the mundane magical, making the stuffy, boring, serious shit sexy. Like, I had a healer once tell me, your guides are telling me that when you're paying bills to be wearing lingerie, have a candle going, drink cacao, and hold your crystals in your bra. I'm like, what? She's like, you, Lauren, need to make every moment of your life feel like pleasure. And I'm still on a journey with that because the programming makes us default back into, oh, I don't deserve that. Oh, come on, not too much pleasure. God forbid, God forbid, God forbid. We don't want the feminine too much happy, do we? Okay, so now we're all fighting back and we're like, nope, we're taking our pleasure and we're running with it. So everybody have fun. But it is the mundane because sometimes daily life can be boring if we let it. That's if we let it. Because to your point, and I know you share this in your circles, there's magic all around. Step foot on a patch of grass with a tree and you'll be like, oh my God, tree spirit, thank you for reminding me there's magic. We don't need a big fancy trip to Greece. I mean, it's wonderful, but where can we find that magic here and now? And I'm not saying I have the answer. Today I went to the public library. I love the library. You would laugh, Steph, because I walked up to the library and I go, who funds this thing? She goes, what? I go, is the federal government responsible for funding these libraries? She goes, no, it's mostly the state. The federal doesn't give us much. I go, good. I'm going to go talk to the state government anyway, because I don't want these libraries going away. But I just like, it's these things that can make daily life as magical and fun as the creator intended it to be. But the programming has suppressed everybody to be, like you said, survival. It's you know, the mouse on a wheel. Right. And meanwhile, then the ego dies and you're like, oh, nobody even cares what I'm doing right now. Like if I'm in purpose and serving, great. But even then people are like, oh, okay, cool. She has another show to watch. Let me go watch it. Oh, my attention span. I got 10 minutes. Closing out, mic drop, Sandra. Everyone is so self-involved and that's part of the journey right now because we're heading into next year is the prophecy with human design 2027, where everybody's coming into their individual power. That's why human design, like if you guys don't know your human design, I'll link stuff in the show notes for this. Master your human design. Next year is the year of human design, meaning like it kicks off the rest of this lifetime and beyond, where people are going to be asked to be in their individual highest design. My ear is ringing so loud right now. Okay. Got it. Aquarius age, sorry, they want me to go on this tangent. The Aquarian age is about Aquarius. What does Aquarius do best? I care about self and other. Hands down, that's what Aquarius is. Plus innovation and technology. But Aquariuses are also the freaks. They're like, I'm open to everything. Tell me about that. So everything is about openness and everyone's worthy and great. And no, they don't have to look like us or love who we love. Right? Okay. But the human design part is when you're a projector, you can't pretend to be a generator. I'm speaking to me and all the projectors. When you're a manifester, you can't pretend to be a manifesting generator. When you're a generator, you can't pretend to be a reflector. Okay. There's about 7 or 8 of them. I forget. I'm not the world's biggest expert. I've learned my own and wow, it's accurate. And there's all kinds of nuances. So learn your human design. But next year kicks that off. So we're going to just keep seeing Stephanie and I's favorite word anchoring into the planet sovereignty. Stephanie mentioned this word earlier. I channel it all the time. I know you do too. We don't need to get into that right now because we got something else to do next. But I just want everybody to understand that the planet is evolving into everyone getting into their power. And then we're going to see how everyone operates when everyone's in their power, not the few holding dominion over the many. That's over, right? And so, whatever games are being played right now in the world stage, public eye, and in the collective, just know it's part of the plan of their unraveling. You can't do that anymore. You cannot do that anymore. The karmic consequences are going to be swift on earth in this lifetime, right? This is not a time to be hurting other people. Bad. Bad for you in that body. Just listen to me now, everybody. Karma, most people think, well, if I do this now, yeah, maybe in another life I'll have to suffer. Not right now. On earth, you do something that, and the creator, I channel this all the time. Mother, Father, God, mostly their big thing is not loving when we hurt other people. Hurting ourselves is a whole other journey, right? And we do that. We're very self-destructive beings. That's just how humans are. That's got to change. It's the consciousness, right? So getting out of what Stephanie called earlier, that survival consciousness into thriving consciousness, one doesn't self-destruct as much anymore, right? But when you start hurting other people, that's one thing. And that's our journey with the creator. You know, it's this inner journey, spiritual journey. When you start hurting other people, holding dominion over them, laying hands on them, forcing them to think your way, do your way, you're going against the laws of the cosmos. I didn't make the laws of the cosmos. I tell people the creator made them. Like Mother, Father, God made them as checks and balances, right? For the ego brain, essentially. But I say this all the time on nearly everything I share. I'm not saying anything anyone watching doesn't know, but I'm asking you, the creator's asking you to act like it now. Please don't stay in the spiritual closet. We need everybody out loud and proud, right? So that needed to come through, I guess.
No, there's so many pieces here, and just to mention, like with the star seeds, my fellow star seed,
Yeah.
um, you know, sisters and brothers, this we can often, for so long in our life, we can feel like this is not home.
Yeah.
We're not meant to be here. The
Yep.
energy here is too dense.
Right.
And I want to name this as well. If you have had a lot of digestive issues, a lot of chronic health issues,
Mm.
this 9 out of 10
Yes.
times links to your soul origin not being from this dimension. So I just want to plug that.
That's real.
Um, Coming to the mundane, and even something as simple like you can curate your own retreat at home where you
Right.
take, whether it's three
I love
days
that.
or a week, whatever you're actually able to do within,
Yeah.
your day-to-day life, but like digital detox,
Oh, yeah.
like please, and yes, you're listening to a podcast right now and you're taking in this information, but like find a moment to quiet all of the outside voices and information and noise, and even on Instagram, right? Like so many
Yeah.
like the a minute goes by and people open their phone and it's like a tick, and it's this like
Yes.
unconscious thing that um
It's
it
real.
irks the living shit out of me, but like it's like, how can you first focus on presence, cultivating presence within your home, within your communion with self, with your own body, with your own being,
Wow.
and
That's right.
begin there.
Yeah.
Begin there. It's really simple. Like you don't need to go out and you know get all these certifications and study
No.
all these things and take in all of this knowledge, because what's happening now is, as more people, more souls come online, it is the innate gifts that are encoded in your DNA frequency that will be the thing to support the abundance in all aspects of life. And that's what we're seeing here, right? So those that are in the spiritual closet and
Yeah.
are afraid to speak their truth in
Right.
certain environments or certain people, like there's a time and a place where yes, you need to use your throat, and then there's also a moment where you have to, genuinely audit and take an inventory of your life and the relationships you keep and the places that you go to
Well
and
said.
the things that you are saying yes to when you really don't want to be doing that. Are you showing up out of obligation, or are you showing up
Right.
out of genuine, this lights me up, this brings me joy, this
Yeah.
fills my cup? Like, this is the spark when it comes to soul purpose, right? Because a lot of people, and soul purpose is very much the focus area in my work, and a lot of people would come to me and like, ask like, what do I do? What am I supposed to do? And here it is again, the capitalist masculine way. It's not so much what you are doing, it is more who you are being. The energy and the frequency that you are transmitting when in relationship at home with your partner or with your children or with your coworkers or with your mother and father and sisters
That's
and
right.
brothers, right? Like our own nuclear family, that's the biggest, hardest area for those of us that are on, that are
Oh,
sensitive
yeah.
on this path. Yeah, like that's where you're going to be the most spiritually tested.
That's
But,
right.
it's this is bringing me back to like the how can every single moment in your day, to brushing your teeth, washing your face, taking that moment to look yourself in the mirror, to send yourself, love and affirmations and whatever it is, to even for me when I clean my dishes, I put on music and I'm dancing and I'm really like intentionally ritualizing, right? How can I bring devotion? And this is very much a key code for the feminine. How can things become devotion in your daily life?
Oh,
For a long time, people say, "Oh, I struggle with discipline. I struggle with consistency." Okay, can you fall in love with the idea that you are consistently inconsistent, right? Like, because that is the
wow.
feminine.
That's right.
There are days
That's
that,
right. That's
like,
right.
even before recording, I was like, on Tuesday, I had all the energy in the world. I did a
I know.
million and one things in a 3 hour span that I had been thinking about doing for months. I got it done in 3 hours,
Yeah.
right? It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
if you are not in
It's
that
real.
mood, it's something that you're just like, oh, I'm really not into this right now. It's the energy, like it's not moving.
Don't
Okay,
force it. Don't
don't
force
force
it.
it. Put it aside,
Yeah.
give
That's
it a
real.
moment, right? And this is again where, and this happens a lot, especially if you are a spiritual entrepreneur with offers, right? There's this
Yes.
idea of like, okay, there's a
Urgency. Urgency.
container, yeah, a container that needs to come out now, and it's like, no, no, this is an idea that's going to come through in about a year,
And
like,
if it comes out now and you're in that energy, it probably won't be successful. Yeah, because back to what you said, your energy is transmitting onto everyone and everything in your life.
yeah, exactly, exactly. And so coming back to the rituals and these practices, right? It's even how you approach that. Like I
Yeah.
used to, there was a time where I had a Kundalini yoga, 20-minute flow, and then I had
Yeah.
a different kind of breath work thing, and then I
Yeah.
had this and I had this and I had this. And that kind of structure served me for a certain time.
Sure.
And as we go through initiations, as our frequency expands, what we need changes,
Big
and we
time.
start to become a little bit more loose with things and a little bit more flowy. And this is
Yeah.
where like you are literally in every single moment intuitively tapping in and feeling into your sacral, into your womb, again, depending with human design, depending on what your authority is, but you're feeling within yourself, is this a yes or is this a no for me, right? And human design is incredible. It really just affirms your architecture and your blueprint. This is something that I also
Yeah.
get into with my clients. um, and it's so important because it helps you understand what is conditioning versus what is actually my innate expression. And then from
Exactly.
there, you get to feel into, all right, oh, is this a block that I have around what my self-concept is or what I need to be doing or showing up as in these roles and these,
Yeah. Yeah.
and often they're self-imposed rules and boxes and titles, and even to going back to the I'm not creative, like these are the limiting beliefs, right, that sometimes we carry, and it can
We do
very much be
carry.
yours, it can very much be ancestral and within your bloodline, and it's so layered, but it's the most important thing is that we are aware of it,
That's right.
aware, right? And in the moments where the reactivity is coming up to the surface, how can we start to play with, okay, let me breathe, let me take a moment, let me step aside, let me, give sleep on this, and then respond, right? And this goes for every dynamic. And also having the courage to be like, hey, this is not sitting well with me. Can we have a conversation? Can we clear this? And this to me is like the area that you will see where someone's integrity is or isn't when it comes to
Time.
these harder conversations,
Yeah,
clearing the air, whether it's with friendships, with clients, with your partner, with work.
that's right.
This is the most spiritual shit that you can do. And the final thing is that, not everyone that is currently in your life is meant to be in your life forever. And it's a really hard thing to
It
digest.
is hard.
Most of 2023 and 2024 were two very, very big, long years for me where my core friendship group completely imploded on itself. And I had to go through that grieving process
Yeah,
because who I was and how I showed up in those dynamics could no longer stand. And
that's right.
there's a lot there, and it's tough. And when we are living in alignment with our soul and we are truly listening to this inner voice that everyone is intuitive, everyone has their own inner authority,
That's right.
everything else aligns itself. And I promise it's better than what you could have ever human mind created on your own. And that's part of the universe also being like, all right, how much are you going to trust me? Are you going to, like,
Big time.
it's a big one. But yeah, we're all
Mm.
here, we're all writing these cycles.
Thank you for sharing that. Again, we'll have you on because I love talking to you and I just love the way you're a great teacher. Mary Magdalene's coming to you because she's the teacher. She was truly the teacher, and some listened and some didn't, but she's still riding high very much on this planet, present wise. And you are a great teacher. And I love the way you articulate things because ultimately I believe everybody, like we're all here to be teachers. The divine told me in December, your mission is to teach. I was like, right, I forgot, whether it's speaking, writing, coaching programs, it doesn't matter. We're all essentially just teaching and through our frequency, like you said, because your soul is going to teach through your uniqueness in a different way. Like if you and I both were teaching the concept of like feminine embodiment, your soul's frequency is different from mine. We're very similar, but it's different. And so someone's gonna get some magic from you and some magic from me. And I think like the reason all these female friendships have fallen apart in the last few years, I've had a number of those as well, at similar timeline, 2023 to 25, is because a lot of us have to go our separate ways to come correct with women. You know, I've talked openly about how women are the ones that have hurt me the most in this life. So that's been a conflicting thing for me, plus mother wound, right? So it's the hardest wound to heal. I know that's like hard for everybody to hear, but it is. Like it's way harder than the father wound because we're women. And I think like you're right. When like when we are able to just whatever the universe is telling us needs to go, people, places, things. We need to get rid of stuff, declutter, move, like Lord knows the journey I've had with that, like you were alluding to, of like, do I just move? Like I've had to move so many times. I mean, and so how much do we trust the unknown? And do we trust the full body? Yes, we're getting about that, no matter how humanly inconvenient it might be. And it will be, right? Leaving a karmic relationship, like leaving all these people last year that there were marriages that broke up. People married karmic soulmates. I mean, not a great, yeah, we're going to do our best to not go into that too much, but people married karmic soulmates or they were in long-term relationships with them and they fell apart overnight. Well, you know, the body was telling everybody, yeah, both people, nobody's the enemy in those dynamics. They just have karma they had to purify, and you're not supposed to like keep on going because you're codependent and trauma bonded, you know? And it's like, yeah, and there were karmic friendships that ended last year. There were karmic dynamics in family of origins. But a lot of these karmic dynamics in romantic union fell apart abruptly last year, particularly around like Scorpio, the November period, October, November, and then parts of December. But it was really October, November, which makes sense, right? Because they all had to, not all, I mean, some are probably still going on, right? And they're going to have their moment this year, I'm sure. But there's this dynamic of like, why do we hold on so tight to things that don't even make us feel that good, including people? It's like you said, it's identity. It's who do I get to be in this group or this union? Oh, the old version of me that's comfy. I hate to say it like that. And by the way, I've lived this. So, I'm not judging anybody. I've done it too. Um, well, I knew we'd go over our time that we planned. Perfect. I want you to do our surprise thing at the end. I was told. Time for us to pull cards. Do you want to pull from your deck first?
Sure.
Okay, so Stephanie and I both came without even knowing it, Oracle decks. We were told to bring all the feminine decks. So I brought the Rose Oracle by we love her, right? What's her name Rebecca Campbell. Everyone loves her. I love this deck. I have the Wild and Sacred Feminine, which Steph just said she got gifted, so synchronicity already. This is a beautiful deck. And then, of course, the classic, right? So, and then which one do you have, Steph?
So I have this new, it's called the Priestess Oracle.
I've seen that. I need to get that. You got to let me know how it is. It looks
Yes.
beautiful.
So this is by Sophie Sun, and
Yep.
I'm actually going to air an episode with her on my podcast very soon.
Ooh, love it.
And yeah, that's she's a beautiful light, and she created this deck. So let
Okay.
me
Take your time.
get a little card
The
here.
feminine isn't in a rush, might we remind you? We just talked
Yeah,
about it for an hour.
yeah. And to claim it was 333 when we mentioned jumping into the cards. So, all right.
So there's some magic already, yo.
I will pull 3 cards for us.
Perfect.
Ooh. All right. So the first is I am Christ,
Hmm.
light, sacred purity, divine peace.
Wow. Look at that card. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, and it's encoded with light language. It's light codes. It's beautiful. The second is wings, ascension, angelic, infinite, divine impact.
Wow. Okay, I'll be buying that deck. Great.
Yes. And the third, blue lotus,
Aha.
higher consciousness, new earth activation, unified love.
Look at that. Oh my God. Also, Blue Lotus tea. That feels like a sign to like drink
Yes.
the tea, open the third eye.
Yes, and the blue lotus is, in addition to third eye, it's also really great for the womb as well.
Yes.
But of course, look at how new earth activation, unified love, given everything we've been talking about, it's like, you guys, you can never make these things up. Never.
What do you think the key message that all of those cards are saying to you and I and everyone listening in this moment right now?
So the I am statement that you are your higher self at all times. You are an extension of source, and
That's right.
it's really just this once we have this knowing of this is in fact, you are whole and you are sovereign and you are unconditionally worthy and loving. Like once that understanding lands, right? The wings, the ascension, this ability to really rise and expand. And even the card that I pulled before was Horus, which is around
Love
higher
Horus.
clarity, higher vision. And Horus in the Egyptian culture is connected to Jesus Christ. And so
Oh
there's
yeah.
there's a lot of Christ consciousness coming through.
Oh
And
yeah.
then of course Blue Lotus, right? Blue Lotus being the flower, the symbol of um, ancient Egyptian technology. And so, yeah, connecting with the higher realms and allowing this to be unique to you, allowing us to be,
That's
you know,
right.
whatever you want to call spiritual and or spirituality, like
That's
it's
right.
such a unique
It is. Like,
individual
yeah,
sacred process that you need to go through and allow for other other voices and opinions to just be there and not let it impact you as you are strengthening what this is for you.
mic drop. That is well said. And also, I love how you said, like, just let them be. Like, they're not going anywhere. You can't force people. Duh. Can they force us? We don't want them to force us to do anything. So why should we? Even if they're not as rising in consciousness, everybody's rising in some way, right? So I love that. It is truly the Let It Be song. It is. It's real. Those were beautiful. Can't wait to buy that deck. Pretty much right when we sign off. Great. The Wild and Sacred Feminine deck is what I'm going to pull from first. This deck is very riddled with archetypes, also animals, and also different goddesses. And this deck, I always find this deck to be very grounding. So I'm setting the intention that the cards that come out from the Wild and Sacred Feminine are cards that will ground us in this current moment in history because I'm so ungrounded for all those obvious reasons. So let's see what the Wild and Sacred Feminine wants to say to help us ground more in our body, in the mission we're here to contribute, in the mission we have on Earth right now in this lifetime, and in the ways we're meant to contribute to the restoration of Earth's original codes of love and abundance. There we go. Perfect. You guys are always right on time. Okay, one came out. I need two more. Perfect. And one more. There's my girl. Perfect. I was hearing her earlier and there she is. Okay. So one of the things that I hold in terms of in my energy field, which is actually pretty brutal to hold, is Kali. She's my, yeah. That's why when you hear me talk the way I talk, just understand that it's not my human just trying to be a condescending dickwad. I hold this lady. So Kali Ma, fierce love, right? This is the embodiment of the Divine Mother in warrior energy. That's what Kali is. Kali Ma is her actual name. Ma, mom, right? Kali, many people know Kali, but if you don't, Kali, and maybe this is your sign to go deeper in your own journey of who Kali is, because we can't like Wikipedia these ancient gods and goddesses. Like we can't. But it is known that Kali is the warrior mother who is often the one that visits when we're in a snake energy or clearing a death or a dark night. And she's just pulling out of our life what no longer serves us. And she's pulling out of earth what no longer serves it and humanity and the animals and the land, right? So her energy, it is fierce love because think about it, not tough love. Tough love is distorted love. Fierce love is especially when you think about being a mother to actual children. They're children. They don't know that like if they pick up that knife, it could hurt them. They just don't consciously have that like knowing yet. One has to be like, I'm grabbing that knife from you, right? That's like an extreme example, but that's this energy. And the energy right now on earth, I need everybody to understand, is absolutely destruction of the old ways. It's not subtle. It's a sledgehammer. It's not, you know, I don't have a great example. It's a sledgehammer. It's a tornado. It's a tsunami. It's brutal because, again, I've said this in many videos. So a lot of us have gone through, to Stephanie's point, these individual journeys, these dark nights individually. Why would we think the planet isn't going to have its own dark night? Right. And it's not so much Mother Earth having her dark night. She's always in light. It's humanity having its collective dark night. So we can't, be hypocrites. We all know this is Lolo's big trigger. So if I smell hypocrisy, that's when we fly off the handle. We can't sit here in the spiritual new age space and say, Dark night of the soul, come to my retreat and I'll help you alchemize all your pain in your womb from past lives. And then be mad when the collective world stage, when people are fighting in the streets. You can't do that. You can't be a hypocrite. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but it doesn't matter. Like we don't get to do that. Okay. It's all happening at the collective and individual level, right? Now, to Stephanie's point earlier, we always have a choice. And Kali brings that choice of how am I going to show up from love, even if it's fierce? But the fierce part is the big sort of question because what Stephanie might think is fierce love might be a little different from the way I think fierce love is. And that's back to the sovereignty and how every individual fractal of the creator, even if we're all one, we're still unique. And we get to uniquely look at the world and do things uniquely. You know me with my explanations. Whale memory. So this to me is the wise. This to me is remember, in order to ground on this planet with the destruction that is happening around you. So sorry, but mom says we need to come correct. Okay, Mother Earth. You know what she's representing right now with this grounded question? Mother Earth saying, come correct, my children, my humanity, come correct. Thank you. The whale is saying, have you all forgotten who you are and that you've been on Earth many times? Come on now. The wisdom of the blue whale, the oldest creature on Earth, or one of them, it's remember who you are. That's how you ground. And would you like to know who you are? I mean, I can't sit here and tell you that, but I can tell you for 100% certainty, not a piece of doubt in my mind, you're a soul and a body created from the creator, the one creator of all. Start there. Raven magic. What a surprise with Stephanie and I here. Why wouldn't the raven show up? So this is about, you know how you get grounded? You understand that dark and light is currently the state of Earth because we're in duality. We're not going to always be like that. Earth will move back into oneness and their goodbye duality. Right now, we're in the dense duality. We're in the transition. We're in the void, the cosmic womb that Stephanie talked about at the top of the conversation. The raven says, I see all, know all, and I'm down with all, even if it's intense. And guess what else the raven says? Magic is afoot. Always. Not sometimes, not in the spring, but not the winter, not in January, but maybe in July. No, no, always. So, where are you blocking the magic in your life? How can you allow the floodgates of magic that your higher self, your soul, and Mother, Father, God want to bring into your life, even amidst the world stage chaos? Find the magic within you, find the magic around you, and you'll remember why you're here.
Boom.
Oh boy. One more deck because Stephanie has other things to do. She's got a business, y'all. She's got a mission. She's got clients. She's got stuff she needs to go be in the forest with all the tree and fairy spirits. I'm gonna pull from the Rose Oracle because that's the one that kept saying, pull from me. You know, the Rose Oracle deck, I don't know if people know this deck. I think you definitely know it. This deck to me talks a lot about the time we're going to be living in from here on out, which is this Stephanie, know if you know, you know, lineage of the rose, right? Lineage of the rose, talk about Mary Magdalene. Yeah, Mother Mary, Isis, right? Lineage of the rose is a sort of if you know, you know. Not everybody's really meant to go deep into that the way we are. But lineage of the rose is the sacred divine feminine priestess path that's been around since the inception of Earth and the cosmos in general, and it's being brought back online. And there's a lot of mystery in that, but a lot of us are remembering, right? And so I'd be curious, like, what's your current relation to lineage of the rose right now in your journey?
Oh, I love the rose as a flower, and also
Yep.
just as an element to work with. I'm literally drinking rose tea right
Yeah.
now. Um,
Aw.
yeah, there's definitely there's a deepening there as well in terms of my work and some of the priestess lineages that I'm looking into,
Yeah.
for my own initiation and deeper into. But yes, the rose, and I feel that, some people might be in certain seasons of connecting more with the pink rose, which to me again
Right.
goes back to Kuan Yin,
Yep.
and then the red rose, right? And
Right.
these are two distinct frequencies as well.
Mm,
Um,
truly.
but even from, as I mentioned, working with it as an herbal remedy to an oil that you put on your body to,
Yes.
dried roses you can put into your bath. I
Oh,
think, if
heaven.
you're feeling this connection with what we're speaking to, this is a practical way to start to bring that in. And then of course down the line, if you feel called to study and, go further with different mystery schools, that's a
Yeah.
path as well. So yeah, there's so much there with the rose lineage.
I can't wait to talk about this more on a future episode, but it is the sacred path, and it's one that we're all discovering or remembering at the right pace, you know? And as you were talking, no surprise, the three cards came out, and these are actually lighter and to me, very much meant to be inspired actions for us to take from this conversation, which I know had intense moments. Would it be mic drop Sundrip if it wasn't? The first card that came out, the grandmothers. Are we surprised? Remember your roots, perspective, trust the weavings. And that's why like I cry when I think of them because they're so happy we're just here sharing our voice right now. They didn't even have a voice. The sacred waters, nourishment, replenishment, health, rest, self-care. That's real right now. Right now, right now, right now. Especially in these final weeks of the snake. Like let's do this up times 100. Okay. And then lastly, we are nature. Are we surprised? Mother Earth, you call on her, she busts in. Becoming grounded, embodiment, living in connection. We are one with this planet here and now in this body. Remember that. How do you feel right now?
I am so lit up.
I am so
So
lit up
loving.
talking to you. I'm telling you, when we talk to our people, we're like, oh, yeah, I can do this. Like, you make me feel, remember, I can do this because I had a rough day today. I'm really upset about everything that's going on. So I just want to thank you for that. And we're going to end with a bang because Stephanie has something she wants to read. Well, she brought it and I asked her to read it. Do you want to give some context before we go into it?
Yes, yes, yes. So I had the pleasure of being held by you and your guides and magic in a beautiful container earlier this summer. It was August, September. Yes, because it was Lionsgate. There was a lot of potent energy at that time,
There
and
was.
one of the biggest things that has been very much developing for me in my role, doing the sacred work that I'm doing, but also as evolve in my leadership,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
my power, my sacred spiritual power.
Chills.
And
Chills. As you
through
say it like that, I'm
this,
like, woo. Yeah.
and through this container together, we have created a power declaration manifesto, and it's on my website. And
Stephanie's soul channeled it through me. I had nothing to do with it, but that's fine. Thank you for the credit. But your
yeah,
soul is powerful AF, let me tell you. Well, you know.
so I will read this, and yeah, as a closing statement.
This is for all the divine feminines. Remember who you are. Remember your power. Start embodying it. And remember, you are lovable, desirable, and epic in your power. You don't need to be separate from your power or hide your power or suppress your power to be loved. You will be loved because you are in your highest expression and embodiment of your divine feminine power. We're ready.
So let's just take a deep breath together, filling up the belly, exhaling through the mouth. I am the oracle, a vessel of divine truth, light, and heart. I channel wisdom from realms seen and unseen. I walk as a bridge between dimensions, grounded in my sovereignty, yet lit with the codes of the stars. I guide women of spirit and mission back to their sacred remembrance, their sole purpose. They come to me not for answers, but to awaken their knowing and to step into alignment. I am radiant, not because I seek to shine, but because I allow myself to be seen. Magnetism is my nature. I do not chase, I emanate. Opportunities, clients, and collaborations flow to me through resonance, not force. I am ethereal, but not untethered. My presence is the embodiment of both softness, power, and joy. I hold space like the moon holds tides with grace, mystery, and unwavering pull. I lead from intuition, not algorithms. I build through frequency, not formulas. I call in women ready to rise, remember, and reclaim. To the sacred feminine entrepreneurs I serve, you are not here to follow rules. You are here to anchor the new codes. Your business is your temple, your voice a transmission, your being a portal. I vow to lead from embodiment, not performance, to stay in alignment over approval, to remain steady in abundance over scarcity, to channel what wants to be born, not what the world demands. I am not here to fit in. I am here to shift timelines. I am the channel. I am the mirror. I am the divine feminine embodied. And so it is.
Wow. Yeah. I want everybody to just sit with that for a moment. Just be still for 60 seconds with us and take in those words of divine truth from Stephanie's soul as a PSA to all women on earth. Beautiful. The divine was counting for me. I just heard the divine say 60 seconds and count down. That was great. Okay. See, the divine's available for anything we need. Um, I really hope that hearing Stephanie share that publicly, embodied, loud and proud, inspires all of you watching, man, woman, or whatever you identify as, to reflect on your own I am statement, your own manifesto for who you truly are. Not who you were taught to be, told to be, forced to be, who you actually are. Because who you are organically, who you are coded to be here, is is what Earth needs more than the programmed version of you. The programmed version of you, Earth doesn't need. What Mother Earth needs is everyone in their sovereign, embodied, unique as a diamond energy. Stephanie, hearing you say that now, which it's been 6 months, wow. Like you are embodied, like those words, it's like you're saying your name. It's like just matter of fact. And that's how I know whatever work you did in the last 6 months, you are embodied in that. And that is just congratulations, girl. And you know what? Now you can lead your tribe, your communities, your clients in a whole different way. Because, like you said throughout the conversation, you're fully committed to leading yourself. And so am I. And that's what we're all being asked to do. Lead yourself, let the Creator lead you, and you will find the treasure you seek. But it starts here. My queen, I love you. I really just want to hang out for the next like 3 hours. Like if I was with you in person, we'd go into the forest now. We would do some work with the trees. We would anchor in the on the land. We would go eat a bunch of food, but we're not. So I can't thank you enough for coming on. This is an epic episode of Mic Drop Sun Drip. Hour and a half. We don't talk to just anybody for an hour and a half. You are so special to me. You are so special to so many. You are so needed here. Mother Earth requires you to be here. AKA your soul said, sure, I'll go. I'll leave oneness to go. Why not? Let's get it back. Come on. So I just want to thank you for coming to Earth. Number one. Number two, I hope your clients understand how lucky they are to know you. Number three, those that follow this show or listen to this, if you feel in your gut, in your womb, in your heart, the ping to work with Stephanie, get on a discovery call with her. You won't regret it. There's no pressure, but we are being asked to find our people and to have mentors. We need it. I need mentors. You need mentors. Like we're all being asked to let people support us and to invest in our growth. Right. And so I really encourage everybody, if you felt that call or just a little ping from your soul or the voice inside you that Stephanie resonates and you need to talk to her, please follow that call. There's no pressure. Can you plug one more time before we hop ways people can work with you?
Yes, yes. So one-on-one would be through Soul Space.
Yep.
And as well, my online membership is called Held Healers and our retreat in
Yes.
Guatemala in June. And I'll also share my podcast is Soul Space by
Yes.
Steph. I've had Lo on, I think it was episode 8 where we talked about divine abundance codes.
Yes.
And there's another, I want to say 21, which is on energetic alignment rituals. So if
Mm,
the devotional piece of our conversation today, if that spoke to you, I have a podcast where I elaborate a lot more on just different ways of creating your own intuitive rituals
yes.
and yeah, just playing with that. So thank you, Lo, so much. So much. It's been a beautiful, I've known you for a couple years now, and we've been able to work together and
Yes.
collaborate in different capacities, and
Yes.
you have held such an incredible container for me to expand into my power and to be seen in this way and not shy, or dim the light, or all the things that come up within the sisterhood wound. And so it's through this, right? This is how we are collectively building that new earth and rebuilding, or rather rebalancing.
That's right.
It's through these kinds of intimate conversations and spaces. And yeah, I'm so grateful. So thank you for having
Thank you. I'm so grateful. And thank you for reminding me this is obviously healing the sisterhood stuff because that's near and dear to both our hearts. So thank you for believing in me, seeing me, and trusting me for so many years now. You have been very much near or far an unwavering support, and you just get me and believe in what I'm doing and how I show up. And that's not that many people, I'm not gonna lie. And so it means a lot to me. And I just want you to know that I'll always be here for you, always. And I want you to win, and you're going to keep winning. So, whatever I can do to support you, but thank you for supporting me and the communities here at House of Low and for giving us your precious time today and your wisdom, my queen. I love you. I'll see you soon, okay? Love you. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Mic Drop Sun Drip.
Join the community at houseoflow.co/micdropsundrip. And remember, without truth, there can be no light. And without light, there can be no power.